All right, boys, we finally made it to the end of 2024. And what a crazy year it's been, honestly. Really has been a strange year for gaming. But this is my year-end recap and awards video here. We're just going to go over the games that I reviewed this year and just talk about some of the things that happened in the gaming industry in general. Because some big changes are definitely in the works here in the gaming industry going forward. For instance, we had some smaller studios come out of nowhere with a few big hitters this year, such as Pal World or Helldivers 2. But we also saw a lot of AAA studios that failed so horribly that they're now going into 2025 on the brink of bankruptcy. Oof. That's rough. Some of those AAA companies being, Ubisoft or BioWare. And for instance, Ubisoft failed in spectacular fashion this year. They had a flop real early in the year with Skull and Bones, and then they followed that up with their God Killer, X-Defiant, which also flopped. And then they came back a few months later with Star Wars Outlaws, which I couldn't even get through the first few hours because I had a save bug that wouldn't allow me to save my progress after a certain point. So for many reasons, that game crashed and burned. They've lost so much money already this year, and their next AAA release, Assassin's Creed Shadows, looks like it's going to be a huge stinker as well. So look to Ubisoft to be selling off assets sometime in late 2025. Seriously, stick a fork in them, boys, they're cooked. And then BioWare doubled down on the woke and paid the price. Nobody wants your fucking pronouns! And the people are finally letting their voice be heard about it. They don't want that shit in their games. And BioWare could have saved themselves with their upcoming Mass Effect 5, but the early looks tell the story of another woke dumpster fire, so we can rest assured that BioWare will be filing for bankruptcy very shortly in 2025 as well. Ooh, good riddance. We also had Sony publish a game called Concord that was dead on arrival, worse than any other game I've ever seen. Seriously, I don't know if I can think of another game that was this bad, just completely dead in the water as soon as it dropped. We're talking like $350 million spent to make this game, and when it launches, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was around this number. There was like less than 1,000 people playing it. Less than 1,000. I seriously have never seen anything like that. And I've seen some really shitty games come out in my day. I knew it was trash as soon as I saw it during the Summer Games Fest. I called it a woke knockoff Guardians of the Galaxy. It's pretty much what it was. Trash. Yeah, so then EA decided to bring back their long-forgotten college football game. I mean, I knew right away, too, that this was going to be a copy-pasted Madden with college football aesthetics. And that's pretty much exactly what we got. People are finally starting to say enough is enough to EA and their copy-pasted bullshit. Yay! Finally. I mean, it'd be one thing to copy and paste a game that's actually fun to play and not full of glitches and bugs. But Madden and college football are the exact opposite of that. They aren't fun to play because you have to do the opposite of real-life football in order to play them. Running backwards 30 yards to throw 80 yards down the field off your back foot into triple coverage only to complete the pass. Or only having to run one offense and one defensive play the entire game to win. You're actually better off only running a couple money plays over and over again, as opposed to knowing an entire playbook and having a chess match. I mean, it's really unfortunate, but I'd expect the trend of lower sales to continue for EA sports games going into 2025. Nobody wants your sports games, EA. Your hockey game sucks. Your football games suck. Don't even bother bringing back NBA Live. Just get the hell out the sports market, please. Your soccer game's trash. We ain't buying it, boys. And then Diablo 4 finally got some competition in the ARPG genre with the likes of Last Epoch and Path of Exile 2. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Last Epoch. I mean, the game had great build variety, engaging gameplay, and a very chill atmosphere. But I unfortunately haven't gotten a chance to play Path of Exile 2 yet, but I'm hearing good things so far. And then we had Rocksteady Studios, the same developers who made the Batman Arkham games, release Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, which was nothing like the former Batman games, and it ended up being pretty terrible and boring. I mean, they were trying to make some kind of looter shooter, but just ended up making a bland, woke snooze fest with a dead open world. It was really unfortunate to see the great Rocksteady Studios finally fall from grace so spectacularly, but they did. Dragon's Dogma 2 finally dropped this year, and I wasn't disappointed by it. I called it a mediocre masterpiece because it was the epitome of a 5 out of 10 game for me. It did just enough to be fun and keep me playing, but didn't do anything new and could be pretty bland at times. That being said though, I still completed the game and really enjoyed my playthrough LARPing as Conan the Barbarian. It's a good time. Then we had China releasing a AAA game of their own this year called Black Myth Wukong. This was another game that I enjoyed playing. It was like a Dark Souls meets God of War type of game to me. I mean, it was rough around the edges and the invisible walls drove me insane. But I was having a great time with the fluid combat and definitely thought the game was worth my purchase. And gamers finally got their hands on a new boxing game this year called Undisputed Boxing. I personally did not like this game very much at all. I didn't think it did anything better than what Fight Night Champion managed to accomplish all the way back in 2011. The punching felt less like boxing and more like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Like on many occasions, I defeated my opponents simply by spamming left and right hooks over and over, even went out of stamina until they fell over. That's just terrible. And I was really excited about this one, but unfortunately it was just a major letdown. So I guess I'll stick to Fight Night Champion for now until we actually get a legit boxing successor, if we ever get one. And then we got the long-awaited sequel to Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. This was an amazing gem of a game for me this year. I did not know what to expect going into this one, and let me tell you, developers Saber Interactive did not disappoint. The game hit all the check marks for me. I mean, the gameplay was fun, the story was engaging, there were multiple game modes with lots of content and unlockables, no woke nonsense, and it was fucking brutal! Oh, it was fucking brutal, and I loved every bit of it. I had a blast playing multiplayer in this one, and it made me feel like I was playing a multiplayer game from like 2007. The community was good, the maps were symmetrical, everybody had the same loadout so nobody felt OP. It was honestly the most balanced multiplayer game I think I've played in years, and that's saying something. But yeah, I absolutely loved playing through this fucking game. Highly recommend. Alright, then we had Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and that released very mixed reviews. I thought the game was mid at best. I mean, I had a money glitch during my campaign playthrough that made it impossible for me to purchase anything during my entire playthrough. It was really annoying, but I still finished it. The multiplayer is more of what you come to love from a Call of Duty experience. You know, cheaters, skill-based matchmaking, and 1,000 lines of sight on you at all times no matter where you are on the map. You know, that experience. Based on the cheating alone in this game, I don't think anyone should be playing it. This game has got to be one of, if not the worst games for cheating out there. No thanks. So yeah, very mid experience at best, and at worst, a cesspool of cheaters cheating cheaters. Trust me, you don't want to get in the middle of a cheater trying to out-cheat a cheater. Think of the kids, man. Don't do it. And then we had Dragon Age the Veilguard released this year, and people were pissed. They came at us with their woke garbage and their fucking pronouns! And they paid a hefty price for it. It might even cost them their company. This game was very boring and very bland. I hated every one of my companions, and I didn't give a shit about anything going on in the story. Dialogue and the writing in this game gave me a headache, and I just wanted it to end. It was a terrible experience, and I hope BioWare goes away now. There were a few other big-name titles released this year as well, such as Astrobot or Marvel Rivals, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Stalker 2, and a few others, but unfortunately I didn't get to play some of them. I didn't have a PS5 at the time Astrobot got released, but I have one now, so I plan on going back and playing that ASAP. Looked really fun, and it won Game of the Year, which I called. I called it early. You can go back and check the videos. Check that shit. Called it in June. The Summer Games Fest, I think. Alright guys, you're gonna laugh. This is gonna be outlandish probably. Here we go. Here's the hot take. Next game, Astrobot. This game might win Game of the Year. Just from the look of it. I know that's fucking crazy, but serious, I had to watch the thing back like 3 more times to really see what I thought I saw and to see everything that they were showing me, because there was so much stuff there, so many different things going on. It looks like this is PlayStation's version of Mario, except it actually looks really good. For, many people have tried to do their own Mario and many have failed. This actually looks really good, and I'm usually not even a big 3D platformer type of guy, but it's a 3D platformer from the looks of it. But just in the trailer alone, you see all the different worlds and different activities you get to do on your journey through the game. It kind of reminded me of It Takes Two, where, the gameplay kept changing each stage and keeping it fresh. It never really got repetitive, and that's why I actually enjoyed It Takes Two quite a bit. For being cartoony, the graphics look amazing. It really seems like they went all out trying to showcase what the PS5 is truly capable of, and it looks fan-fucking-tastic. The gameplay looks super smooth and fun. Even for people like me that might not even like these types of 3D platformers, I was very intrigued. It's that kind of game. I mean, they had all kinds of different things going on. There was one area where it reminded me of like a modern reiteration of like the Battletoads bikes, where you're flying through this like lava level trying to avoid these things. There's just so many different styles of play, and I really want to play that game. I could definitely see this being Game of the Year by year's end. I know that's an outlandish take, and you guys can, say what you will. Feel free. I've also been playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals, and I think it's a good game. Definitely better and more fun than Overcrotch, but I didn't see a reason to review it as it's a free-to-play game. I mean, if you really want to know, just try it out. As LeVar Burton used to say, don't take my word for it. And while I was trying to play through Stalker 2 for my review, I was having issues with the game crashing and stuttering real bad. And as I was trying to fix that, I got word that a family member had an accident and was fighting for their life in the hospital. So I drove across the country and didn't take anything with me, so I wasn't home to finish the Stalker 2 or the Indiana Jones reviews. I just decided that I'd keep it moving, as I'm still trying to mentally recoup from everything that just happened in the last month. And we got a bunch of games coming up on the horizon in January, so it's going to be a packed schedule. I might go back and review Stalker 2 and Indiana Jones at some point in the near future, but as of right now, I just don't feel like playing them. I got too much on my plate right now. Yeah, so it's been a crazy year in gaming. We've had some pretty good releases this year, and we've had some really bad releases this year. So I'm curious to see where 2025 takes us with GTA 6 and a few others that drop. We'll see. But anyways, let's move on to my awards. I planned on doing my own awards video around the time of the Game Awards, but as I said, I was dealing with a family emergency, so I wasn't able to do it. So because of this, I'm just going to give out 2 awards this year. My best game of the year and my worst game of the year. And these games have to be games that I reviewed this year. As we said before, Astrobot did win Game of the Year this year, and I called it. I knew Astrobot was going to be Game of the Year. I could just tell by looking at the gameplay. It did look really fun. It looked innovative as far as somebody else doing a game on the level of Mario that's not Mario. So I just had a feeling that was going to win Game of the Year. But for me personally, out of the games that I played, this was an easy choice for me. My award for Best Game of the Year goes to Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Definitely 100%. This game just had it all for me personally. Maybe in a different year without all the woke nonsense and trash competition, this game wouldn't be as good. But when we're talking about strictly 2024, this game takes the cake. It didn't try to do too much, just simple, fun, brutal gameplay with just enough story, a decent soundtrack, and lots of unlockable content. And the multiplayer was an absolute blast, and it makes me want to keep coming back for more. These days, I very rarely feel like I get my money's worth when I purchase a game at full price, and many games that I review are never touched again because they're garbage. So I was very happy with how much fun this game was, and I knew right away that I was going to keep coming back for more with this one. If you haven't had a chance to play Space Marine 2 yet, I highly recommend you get your hands on it. It's an absolute blast. Alright, with that being said, my award for the worst game of the year. Now, before I give that award, the games that I played, I did not play Concord this year, but it has to go to Concord. just in general, worst game of the year, because I'd never seen anything like that. It was immediately dead on arrival. So Concord definitely has to take the cake this year for worst game of the year. But for me personally, the games that I reviewed, my award for worst game of the year goes to Skull and Bones. I mean, I played quite a few stinkers this year, but damn was Skull and Bones by far the worst. The game was a woke borefest with female pirates everywhere telling me what to do, ordering me around. Like, jeez. The graphics weren't great at all for how much money and time they spent developing the game, and the combat was flat as a plank. Everything about the game was low effort trash. I mean, it just felt like a glorified mobile game, and these assholes had the audacity to call this pile of junk a quadruple A game. This type of arrogance and ignorance is why Ubisoft needs to die. Seriously. This game and this company, for that matter, are a complete abomination to the gaming industry. Please, somebody take Ubisoft out back real quick and put them out of their misery. This company can't die fast enough. Good riddance. Ugh. So yeah, my final thoughts on 2024. It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. I mean, there were a few good gems that came out this year, and gaming looks to be heading in the right direction, with AAA companies crashing and burning at warp speed, and gamers rejecting the woke garbage that's being forcefully injected into every AAA game on the market. I think we will look back on 2024 as a major turning point in the de-wokeification of our games. And with hindsight, we'll ask ourselves how we ever let games get so bad in the first place. But let's hope 2025 continues this trend. You know, we can only hope that the woke mind virus hasn't destroyed Grand Theft Auto 6 completely, but time will tell. Alright guys, I appreciate all of you tuning in this year. Everybody that subscribed and commented and participated on this channel this year. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I can't even believe we're at 93 subscribers right now. That's a lot for me. So thank you so much to the OG people who subscribed here. The OG people who knew what was up with the Madden, with the college football. They knew what was up early on. People coming in here talking all this trash about how I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, the Heathens Haven crew, we know what we're talking about over here, alright? You want your information early, you come to Sir Heathen. That's where you go. You want your information about what Madden's going to be 6 months before it hits? Just come over here. I'll tell you what the game's going to be. I don't need to see anything. We already know. I can pull out the graph and show you EA and the trend lines. It's like, yeah, it hasn't gone up in like 15 years, so I'm going to assume it's going to keep going down. If it goes up, hey, that's great, but why the hell would you expect it to go up? The logic here is mind-boggling. But yes, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who stuck around in this channel and have participated and commented. I appreciate all of you guys, man. And we're going to keep rocking it into 2025. I'm going to start doing some live streams, most likely. Just some chill stuff. I'll probably play some old games. Nothing too crazy. I just want to be able to interact with you guys more and talk to you guys more. Yeah, I look forward to that and look forward to 2025, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.